Yep, this is me and my car at the Nürburgring, almost crashing into the barrier. Now, while we had a lot of fun that day, doing several other laps that were no problem at all, we also had this happening. Now let's see what it looked like from the inside. All right. Okay. Now, while we added these couple of carousels to the track, we managed to pull over 2G's lateral force. Now, that was quite the experience. Unfortunately, I did not take a screenshot of the big screen to prove it to you because at that point I had other things on my mind, but I'm sure you can believe me on this one. Now, why exactly did it happen? We can only guess and make some educated guesses because there were a lot of factors involved that day. But let's take a look at what actually could have happened. Now here we are turning from Flugplatz into the long curve, which goes to Schwedenkreuz, which means that is the top speed section. But as soon as we came over the hill, it seems that I lifted off a little bit and that made the car unstable. Now at that point, when the car was unstable, I knew I had to straighten it out again to be able to start braking before the turn, because you need to brake in a straight line. That's exactly what I started doing, but I did not reach a low enough speed before the corner apparently, and I guess my foot was still a little bit on the brake when I turned in, and that made the back step out. I looked at this footage over and over and over again and compared it to the other laps that I did, and probably this was exactly the reason why things got awkward, because of the fact that I lifted off over that hump and that made the car unstable, and at that point it was kind of a chain reaction of things that were just bound to happen. And even though this is quite a violent spin, we were fine, but we were not sure the car was fine, because as we drove along, the car actually started giving me notifications about low tire pressure, and it was coming from the right front tire. Now it was dropping really fast, so I was kind of anxious to actually be able to get off the track myself, because Schwedenkreuz is still quite in the beginning of the track, so you still have quite some kilometers to go to be able to make it. So I went very relaxed through the rest of the track, making sure that we did not put too much pressure on that right front tire to squeeze out the air. And then we got to Misha's place, who was fortunately there at the moment. And I talked to him, said, "Hey Misha, look, this is what happened. Can you help me?" And I could hear the air just rushing from the tire. And I was thinking, oh my God, not another flat tire. Now, this is what the tire looked like after the incident. And what actually happened was there was grass that came in between the rim and the tire. Now, with the tires being at 2.9 bars pressure, you might think, how the hell could that happen? But if you look back at the footage and the first spin where I hit the inside of the corner, and you take a very good look at how the tire reacts at that point, that is probably where the grass came in between. Now, unfortunately, Misha could not help us since this was a very big 21-inch tire, but he was kind enough to give me 4 bars of air in my tire, so I could make it for about 2-3 kilometers to Manthey Racing, where he pointed me to get things sorted out. Now, Manthey Racing are on the other side of the Nürburgring entrance when you're coming from Misha's place, and apparently they do emergency services which are related to the Nürburgring on a Sunday, which was very lucky for us. So we got there, we parked the car, and at that point I was looking at the tire and said that maybe this rim is bent. It looked like that, but maybe it was just the tire that was shifted back a little bit. So I went in and they were kind enough to help me out. We sat there for close to 40 minutes waiting and not really knowing what was going on with the car because the workshop was closed off completely, so we couldn't see what they were doing. But eventually the car came back and apparently the rim was not bent and it was just the tire and the rim that needed to be cleaned, needed to be remounted, and we could be on our way again. Now Mante didn't even charge for this service, so big thumbs up for Manta. Thank you very much for helping me out. You were a real lifesaver, much appreciated. Now luckily I already had an appointment set up for Monday, which was the day after because we went on Sunday to the track. And yeah, I came there in the morning, dropped off my car and told them the story, asked them to check the chassis and if there's play on any components or if there's like a bend or something else that was hit. Just do a checkup and see what else was wrong. Now the results were kind of surprising because only 2 clips from the bottom plate were lost at that point, but also some kind of bolt got sheared off, which was a little bit more surprising. Now they told me this was a non-crucial bolt, so it wasn't really a problem. Tesla, if it's non-crucial, why is it there in the first place? And that was it. Such a violent crash, and the car actually took it and didn't have any damage at all besides those 3 small things. And the car was perfectly fine. They also told me at Tesla that this Model S Plaid is the first iteration of the Model S that was actually built for the track. So apparently it's a little bit more rugged than the older versions and it can definitely take a beating. That is something that I've proven as well. Now something else that I've proven is that, contrary to popular belief, the yoke is not a problem at all when it comes to emergency steering. If you look at the footage, there wasn't a single point in that footage where I did not have full control over the movement of the yoke. What I did was basically did an opposite lock. I held the yoke there, assessed the situation, see where the car was going, and then I turned back at the latest instance in the last part of the turn to steer away from the barrier. And that is basically what I think saved us from hitting that barrier, that final movement. Something else that was really interesting to see is here, for example, on the footage from another angle, is that as soon as the car starts spinning, the wheels are still doing something. So the car is still using some kind of traction control, and comparing both footages from both sides, it even seems that, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it even seems that both wheels, both rear wheels, are turning in a different direction, trying to gain control of the car. So even though traction control is almost completely off in track mode, I set it to 0. You can go to -10 when it's completely off, so it will still on for a little bit. And even with that limited amount of traction control, the car was still saving us. So thank you, Tesla, for making such a safe car even under these very extreme conditions. While I have your attention, I also want to make a plea for safety here. Because driving on the track is fun, and especially on a track such as the Nürburgring. It's a very long track, it's very beautiful to drive there as well, but it is a very demanding track. It's not for nothing that they are calling this the green hell. And even though I've driven the track several times now, I'm not a seasoned track driver at all, but I've driven the track at fairly good speeds. But just changing a little thing, a tiny thing in the way that you drive it, and just like this, the track will try to kill you. So go to the Nürburgring, have fun, but keep it safe. That is definitely the main message that I want to convey with this video as well. I was very lucky. I would say it's like 1% skill, 99% luck that I get out alive, because we started spinning at 160 kph. So we were very lucky to get out. Others that same day were not so lucky and did crash, and some of them actually crashed violently during that day. So have fun, go out there, enjoy the track, but know that you're not going to set any records. As Misha eloquently said, you cannot impress anyone at the Nürburgring, you can only make people laugh. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis. I found it fun to drive on the track, a little bit scary to get sideways that way, but in the end it's all worked out, and we're here to live another day. As always, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click that little bell icon there so you don't miss out on any new videos. And for now, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.